Let's have a blast!
Round 1.
Ready, go!
The King of Fighters is back with the 14th entry in the series, with the latest title taking a brand new direction in design, a larger cast, and a more robust online experience. One may be wondering if the risks taken have paid off. Once again, the King of Fighters 14 returns to its traditional team format of 3-on-3. This time around, a few things change when it comes to fighting the next team member in each match. With each challenging teammate comes a boosted meter and additional time for max mode, making the task of taking out each opponent all the more difficult than it has been previously. The latest official entry in the series has left its original 2D art style for a new 3D look. While the move to 3D has not taken away from the magic of the franchise, there are definitely a few small details missing when it comes to certain character designs. Returning cast members definitely feel the effects of this change the greatest, as character movement seems to have taken a hit with certain animations. Some specials and regular attacks do not quite feel up to par with its predecessor and can definitely look a bit stiff in some cases. New cast members breathe some much needed life into the series, making the urge to switch from the old guard a very propositional one. Add to the fact that there are 50 cast members in all to choose from, and you are definitely in for some serious playtime when it comes to finding your character of choice. The new backgrounds are without a doubt the biggest highlight when it comes to the game's new 3D look. 14's different locales are certainly a sight to behold. Whether it's an uninhabited church building or a carnival amusement park surging with life, you are sure to find something new and interesting to take in when you have the opportunity. The new soundtrack pleases for the most part, guaranteeing you will find a few favorites among the very diverse music that you hear for each stage. Story-related rivalries unlock a different soundtrack during battle. Being a fan of the series, it is a small detail that one can appreciate, as there can be something extra to look forward to during gameplay. The combat system for the King of Fighters 14 brings back a few mechanics from the series, while introducing a few new aspects which aim to interest both veterans and newcomers alike. Link-based attacks feel more lenient than in the previous version, and combos do not seem to carry much urgency when executing the more tricky inputs. The new rush mechanic is definitely a great way to bring players who are beginning or brand new to fighting games into KOF 14. With just a continuous press of a button after contact, a player can execute a stylish combo and even finish with a more damaging attack if the meter is available. Players will find that the rush mechanic will connect with basic mix-ups and advanced mechanics as well, making it a viable option for those who want to get into gameplay immediately before practicing the more intermediate elements. While this mechanic can definitely get you started in the right direction, there are still a few flaws nonetheless. The damage for rush combos are scaled, and the opportunities to convert them into damage are limited. The mechanic also has no manual ability, which creates some difficulty when using the button for anything other than the rush combo itself. Grounded blowback attacks now carry a bigger reward than before, creating a great opportunity on both the defensive and offensive ends of the spectrum. Landing the attack now causes a character to get pushed back the entire length of the screen and can be followed up for extra damage depending on where the attack initially connects. While the advanced mechanics for the latest game in the series still feel like a challenge, it has definitely toned down quite a bit from the previous offering. Max Mode has returned with some new upgrades to make things a little more interesting. Once again, the Max Mode activation will turn all desperation moves into their more powerful counterpart, but that is not all. The EX special moves are now activated in Max Mode, but give you an infinite amount of access to them during this period. This added effect definitely makes the decision to use Max Mode a much more strategic proposition in a game that is full of various options when it comes to getting damage. Canceling super moves from special moves or basic attacks no longer carry a penalty, and 14's system takes this a few steps further with their new super cancel activations. As long as the meter is available, there are endless possibilities, which include canceling supers into EX supers and EX supers into the even more devastating Climax super, which will cause a thunderous amount of damage. Not much has changed on the defensive side of things. Rolls will still get you out of harm's way, but feel quite sluggish when it comes to certain characters, making the option to use them a little more dangerous than before. The online mode for the King of Fighters XIV is without a doubt much more ambitious than the last offering. Options are definitely the name of the game this go around, and you may be very pleased with what they have to offer. The new Team vs Online lobby system is by far the biggest improvement. Players have the option of creating lobbies that feature simultaneous matches, doing away with the usual wait times you get using the feature. Rooms allow up to 12 players and have 3 different ways for you to enjoy your matches. From winner stays to intense long sets, the options provided assure players that they never have to look very far to find another individual to play with. The interface may be a bit overwhelming the first time around, but eventually you get the hang of things. Party mode is probably the biggest feature of this new online mode, as it allows for 6 players to team up for 3 vs 3 matches. If you can find some willing participants, then you're certainly in for some great team fun. You can strategize your team order, or go roulette style and have the game pick your team order for you. Players will not have to fight over their favorites, as party mode will allow you to pick the same character within a team, so no worries there. Just like the team versus option, you can invite up to 12 players in the room and alternate between each other any way you feel like. With all the amazing modes possible for online play, one big question remains: how well does the gameplay do online? While the online play has certainly improved from the previous version, there are a few issues that keep it from getting the grade A stamp of approval. There seems to be a bug, especially within the team versus and rank mode, that causes connections to move slow. As a result, you may find that playing online in the party mode is a far better experience. Another issue that plagues the game at the moment happens with the player's latency information. Bars do not seem to accurately describe the current connection that you have against another player. I often found players with lower connection made for better online play, so finding the sweet spot for good and bad connections is a pretty rough ordeal. With good connections, I found the game's environment to be very fluid and the inputs felt very responsive. Having to deal with bad connections was horrendous, as dragging out a fight could get quite exhausting given the underwater gameplay that happened during the match. At the time of writing this review, a patch is on the way to address the issue, and I can only hope that it does fix the problems that are plaguing the experience at this point in time. The King of Fighters XIV is certainly a great return to form. While the jump to 3D may not have been the perfect transition, it definitely manages to keep the essence of the series intact. Having characters who have been on hiatus from the series, coupled with some new blood, guarantees that new and old players can enjoy what 14 has to offer. The latest title in the series feels a lot more welcoming for newcomers this time around, making it a fighting game that I would highly recommend for those looking to get their feet wet. When it is all said and done, the King of Fighters XIV surely has a bright future ahead if it can overcome the small obstacles that are currently standing in its way.